Take on the pursuit, but do not take the pursuit seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. You see, there's an interesting balance between going after what it is that you desire and losing yourself along that pursuit. There's an interesting balance that you must master when it comes to pursuing your desire, the actualization, the materialization of your dreams, of your purpose, of you actually being the true version of you and having fun along the journey. You see, the key is to actually have fun along the journey because we get so caught up. We get so tunnel vision, so focused on the thing, achievement, that we lose sight of the process, of the moment, the moments that are passing you by as you are simply just focusing on the destination. This is why they say it is not about the destination, it is about the journey. Be mindful about your journey because it is not so much you enjoying the journey, but you being in enjoyment during the journey. You see, that's the key. You hear a lot about people simply pursuing their goals and that, it's important to do so, right? That's pretty obvious. But what I want you to understand is that you're not meant to simply just grasp these goals, okay, with a sense of pressure or a sense of force. You're meant to move toward them from a sense of ease. Now, what does that mean? Well, the thing is, ease is very interesting. It's something that I've come to learn and really understand on such a deeper level than simply something just being easy or not, in terms of physicality, in terms of practicality, in terms of complication, right? That's how we think about things when we think about ease. We think that if it's easy, that means that it's simple. That means that it's not complicated. That means that it is, or it doesn't take a lot of physical ability or exertion to actually get it done. Or it means that you're just naturally talented at it, and therefore it's easy to you. But the truth of the matter is, ease is not about it being practical, not about it being simple, right? Not about it being a simple approach to getting something done, right? Not about it being or requiring fewer things to do or fewer or less exertion. It's really about a state of mind. Ease is, in fact, a decision. I know that it's hard to accept, that it's hard to receive, because the first thing you say, well, why is it that I haven't achieved this yet? Why is it that it has taken me so long to make $1 million, to find that dream relationship, the love of my life? Why is it that it's hard for me to achieve just basic goals? Why is life, quote unquote, a struggle? Well, it is because you've identified with life being a struggle. You've identified with the pattern of relationships that you've gone through, that you've been in. And therefore, the next relationship, because you identify with that pattern, is going to match the pattern. You've accepted the story that making money is hard. And so making money will be hard. So the thing is, it's not about what you have to do to make the money. It's not about who you need to meet to create the perfect relationship, to live in and be in the perfect relationship. It's really about who you are, what you're putting out there. Okay? So the idea of ease is really an idea of recognizing that doing it isn't a matter of saying to yourself, This is something that's going to take a lot of effort. This is something that has a lot of steps and processes. It doesn't mean that what you are looking to achieve and the process by which you have to achieve it doesn't come with some level of strain, level of exertion, right? Doesn't mean that you just kind of float by. What it means is that you recognize that all you have to do is follow the steps. All you have to do is just simply gather the information, the insight, right? The strategy, and just do it. You see, many times we have this block, we have this story about the doing of it, when in fact, it's something that we recognize and we can see and observe, and everybody who has done it, that there is a formula. And if you recognize and see the formula, all you have to do is follow it. Now, it changes when you're doing something completely new, completely original, completely different that no one has ever done before, ever seen before, ever heard of before. That's different. But chances are the thing that you wish to achieve has been done before to some degree. Yeah, it's going to be different in the fact that you're doing it. And since you're different, you're unique, you are you, then there is going to be nuances to what it is that you are achieving. But ultimately, you can follow some kind of blueprint. So that's what I want you to really get into, is understanding that because there are blueprints, because you are who you are, a divine being, the divine individualized expression of what we call the universe, source, God, that you understand there is nothing you can't be. And the idea of thinking you cannot do it is simply a belief system that you have accepted. That is what makes things hard. The belief that it is hard. That is what stops you from doing it. The belief that it is difficult, that it is hard, that it takes too much, that it's too much work, too much effort. And so what I want you to really understand is that this is a part of you taking yourself too seriously. That's not what I want for you. That's not what you want for yourself. You see, the process of actualization of your desire, the materialization of what you really, truly desire to create and manifest, it's a matter of you aligning with it. And alignment, yes, it looks like embodiment. It looks like owning the emotions or the feelings of you having it already. But it also looks like you not taking yourself too seriously along the journey. In other words, you actually having fun and being present in the now. You know, you see how when you talk to yourself and then you're coming from a place of being too serious, it creates a sense of tension, a sense of doubt, right? And resistance. That is something that radiates throughout the universe. And whatever you are radiating out into the universe, guess what? You know it. The universe is going to give it right back to you. So your job here is to recognize what it is that you're putting out there. Recognizing the trap of taking this journey too seriously. We see it all the time in the spiritual community. People who take themselves too seriously, they know the information, they can recite the words, they can download interesting and amazing wisdom and knowledge. But when you look at them, they never smile. They never enjoy the moment. They don't joke around, right? They're way too serious about this path. See, so the thing is, you can be knowledgeable, you can be insightful, but man, you can be a drag as well, right? It can be depressing as well because your energy, your experience, or how you are experiencing and expressing your experience is just lame. So be mindful about the trap of taking your journey too seriously, of taking yourself on the journey too seriously. I've said it before. The game is rigged, and it's rigged for you to win. You've already won. So why do you need to simply beat yourself up, take out the joy, suck the life out of life? Yes, I know. There are moments where you question if you already won. There are moments where you question if you are a individualized spark of that which we call God. But that's simply your ego, right? That's the aspect of you that is based on illusion. That's the fake self, false self. But let's get into the real self, your true self, consciousness. That thing that will never die, that will always exist. That is the part of you want to lean into. This life, though it feels long, and at moments it may feel, depressing, sad, frustrating, recognize that it's only temporary. And it is a small scratch of the surface as to all that you will experience by way of your consciousness. You will live infinite lives and through infinite dimensions and realities. This is only one of them. And so you will continue to live and collect knowledge and information and begin to continue on this process of awakening. And so what I want you to do is take that into consideration, right? It's like you doing something for the first time, trying it for the first time. You know you're not going to be good at it, but you simply go in with the mindset of having fun. The more fun you have, the better you become at it. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to this life. We kind of have this belief system that there is only this one life. Some of us believe in reincarnation. I believe that there is reincarnation, but not only in this realm, in this earth, but in other dimensions and realities where we continue to advance and ascend, where we continue to actually see and experience who we truly are on a deeper and deeper and deeper level. So understand that when it comes to manifestation, there's a connection here. When you realize that joy, playfulness, lightness, when you realize that that puts you in the same frequency of the materialization and the actualization of your desire, you see, that is how you simply stay aligned. Because the resistance, the seriousness is a block. Okay. And that block is the very thing that the resistance is creating the block for the very thing that you're trying to create. But if you recognize the power of joy, happiness, right, lightness, then essentially that's how you stay aligned with that. And the longer you stay aligned, then the faster that thing finds you, materializes, and becomes an expression of you for you to actually experience, right? That's what we call manifestation. So it's important that you recognize your desires. They flow faster when you stop forcing it, right? So think about, all of the moments in your life where you let go because you had a sense of ownership of what you desired, right? Like, for example, when we're in a great relationship, doesn't it seem like that's the time when everybody wants to flirt with you, wants to ask you or take you out on a date, right? And sliding in those DMs, asking you about your love life. When somebody asks you about your love life, you kind of know what that means, right? Chances are they're trying to figure out, hey, are you free, right? But you understand what I mean. Like, you have this frequency that you're aligned with because you're in this moment, in this relationship where things are going great, things are beautiful, you're highly in love. But everybody is coming at you. When you're single, right, that doesn't happen. Why? Because you have the frequency of being single. And so you're single, meaning nobody is attracted to you because you are vibrating from the frequency of being single. But when you're in a relationship, when you're in love, that's when you are vibrating at the frequency, right, of attracting people because you are attracted and are attracting, right, to someone else, with someone else. There were a time where I was working 3 jobs, okay? And it was a job that I love, right? Or a job kind of theme that I love. So I didn't mind working 3 jobs. Anyway, I went to the 3rd job interview. I guess before I worked the 3 jobs, I went to I interviewed for a 3rd job. And one thing that I noticed is I went in with this sense of, I don't need it, right? I already have 2 jobs that pay really well. I don't need it, but I want it. Why? Because I was like intentional about stacking my money, putting it towards certain things, investments and business. And so I knew that I could do it and I knew that it wouldn't really beat me up. So I was like, let me just see what happens. Went into this job interview and it was like hanging out at a bar, a restaurant, a social event where me and the 2 other people who were interviewing me, we were just having a good time chatting and talking. They would ask me questions. I would tell them, I would joke. I would ask them questions. And they said it. They said, we really like you a lot. So we want to bring you on board. And I felt the same way. But the point is that because I was already aligned and had the mindset and the energy of having jobs easily, it was easy for me to get another one. Those who make millions and millions of dollars, they say the first 1 million is the hardest. But once they make that, all the millions after are a lot easier. Why? Well, because they have to work a little bit, right? They have to change their mindset. They have to configure how they think and feel about money in order to create that. But then once they do, and once they make that breakthrough, right, and they get to that threshold, then it's simply a matter of being. It's a matter of accepting and saying, I made my $1 million. I'm a millionaire. Boom. From then on, millionaire status forever and ever, right? Of course, that's different for people who win the lotto, but for those who actually have earned their money by creating a business or something, they know how to do it again because that is part of their identity. You see? So what I want you to really just get into is letting go of the seriousness of spirituality. It doesn't have to be intense. There are moments, there are aspects of it that can be intense, If you have a goal, say if you're fasting, there's a certain discipline. There's a certain seriousness about the discipline of fasting. If you are working out and you're training for an event, like a marathon, there's a certain level of seriousness that is in, right, the joy of it, the excitement of it, right? It's like when you look at the yin and yang symbol, which I often draw. The white part has a dot, which is black. The black side has a dot, which is white. What that means is within something, its quote unquote opposite is within it as well. So when I talk to you about being in joy, enjoying the moment, being light, having fun, there is also an element there of being serious. Sometimes when I work out and I'm doing my most intense workouts, the reason why I'm doing it is because I enjoy it. But I am serious at that moment. You ask my son, if he interrupts me, I'm like, don't interrupt me. I'm involved. I'm focused. I'm in this moment. So that is what I want for you. That is what I want you to understand. Have fun. Take this journey, right? But what I want you to understand is if you're going to take it seriously when it comes to having fun in this journey. Do not feel bogged down. Do not feel heavy, because that is going to actually slow you down, right? Like a bunch of luggage and baggage, it will slow you down and make your journey more difficult. That is the difficulty of the journey. That is what makes things hard, okay? Being hard rather than relaxing. When you relax, the universe relaxes. When you harden, the universe will harden. When you relax, your life relaxes. When you harden, your life will harden as well. You know? So stay committed to the pursuit, but show up with fun. Show up with creativity. Show up with curiosity. Allow yourself to just be one with the flow, right? This flow, this river of life. Remember that water, though it can and usually will be flexible, when it is focused, when it is dropping on a single point, a rock, stone, concrete, over time, it will, right, dent it. It will crack it. It will break it. So, like Bruce Lee says, be water, my friend. Okay? So have fun on this journey. If you have any questions, concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. I also invite you, go to futureselffrequency.com. You can pick up the book, The Future Self Frequency, along with the journal as a bundle packet. Okay? When you order this bundle, you will also get a downloadable template, which you can use now while you're waiting for the books to arrive. So go to Future Self Frequency right now, check them out, and I look forward to you ordering them and us growing and expanding and aligning with the version of you who has it all. Thank you so much. Peace and abundance always.